All right. Happy Thursday morning. If you are here with me on Thursday morning or whatever moment you are watching this, I hope you're doing well. And I'm super excited to bring this live stream to you guys. So, for anyone who's in my group or maybe you're new, I'm Heather McGregor and I'm the founder of this group. And my business has been naturally present. I am going through a rebrand and I'm excited to launch that soon. But for those of you who know me, you know that I work with the archetypes, and it has had a profound effect on my life, on my business, on everything that I do, and really understanding the impact of the different channels of the archetypes and how to work with those to really create the things that I desire. I'm also a very natural person, and I love all of the nature elements. The mermaids, the fairies, the sprites, the sylphs, all those things, the dragons, it's all that story and folklore has always been a part of who I am at a core essence. And so recently I've really been able to make the connection between the archetypes and all of that, those energetic streams and the nature spirits to understand how they can be really personal to me. And so that's a little bit of what I'm going to share with you today. And we're going to talk about settling, because I settled for so long. And it wasn't always really obvious. It was most of the time, often it was in a very, very subtle way. If any of you are feeling like you're not settling, I want you to really pay attention to what gets dropped in here, because I think you might find areas where there's a more subtle settling going on. And then we're also going to talk about how to stop that, right? The settling is, it's huge in our coaching industry. It's huge in the world in general. And it can look like really settling for something you don't want because it's in front of you. Settling for someone else's vision or ideas of what you should want as your own. It can look like really knowing what you want, but not believing you can get there, so you settle for something else instead. There are many ways that we settle. And as I said, some of them are obvious and clear, and some of them are very subtle, so that we don't actually have an awareness that we're doing it. Now, if we look at the archetypes, obviously we are in the channel of the prostitute. The prostitute is where we are devaluing ourselves. We're not valuing ourselves. We don't know really what we desire. We might say yes when actually we know the right thing to say is no, or vice versa. So there's lots of that. We're in the channel of the prostitute. Now, the prostitute, the opposite of that is the lover. And all of this is in the channel of the soul. And the channel of the soul is your instigational channel. You must get this piece correct for all the rest of it to unfold. It is the instigation of everything that follows this piece. So it's very, very key. And if you are settling, if you're embodying the prostitute archetype and you're animating the prostitute archetype, you are settling for less than what your soul desires are. Okay? So it's really important to get in touch with your truest desires, your truest values, your truest inner world. And I say inner because there are layers that we go through as we're on this journey where we think we've come to our true soul desire, but it's actually just a layer. There's another layer and a deeper layer and a true core world that is inside of you. And that is the thing you are here to birth. That is the thing that will fulfill your soul, that if you put all of your values on that and you do the work to create it, it's amazing. Not only for you, because it enchants you, it enlivens you, it's what you truly desire on a soul level. But there are others out there who are waiting for you to birth that world, because nobody else has it. It is unique to you. Other people may have iterations of it, but it will not be an exact replica or exact blueprint or coded in the same way as your world. And that's a really key important piece. And that ties into the subtle levels of settling, because what I see a lot with my clients, and I know I've done it myself, and I probably still do in some areas, but people I have conversations with, is how subtle the settling is, because we are inundated consistently, daily, by information telling us what we should want. You know, the coaching business, the 10K month, that linear process linear progression that has been laid out for us. This is the path to have a healthy online business. This is what you got to do, and this is what you got to want, you know, right? We know that's very familiar. But we also are heavily influenced by everything else that we see. The glamour shot of the woman on the beach with their laptop, or the family in the taking a holiday in midweek, whatever it is, right? There's many examples. And try as you might, I guarantee they are influencing the piece of you that feeds your desires to you. Now, I'm not here to say get offline and never look at anything external. Of course, that'd be ridiculous. What you want to learn to do is to have your blinders on when you are interacting and engaging with that. And what I mean by blinders, it's not about shutting it off. It's about being so rooted and grounded in your true desire, your true vision, that you can see that stuff and it doesn't have an impact. It can enter your field, exit your field, doesn't matter, because you are so still, so clear, and so deeply rooted and connected to your true vision. And this is where the mermaid comes in. So the realm of the soul and the lover, it's the water element. And of course, in the water is the mermaid. Now, mermaids are incredible archetypes and energies to think about. A mermaid is wild and free. You can't tame a mermaid. And in fact, if you try, or if you ever contain her, she's very unhappy. But the beautiful thing about mermaid energy is that they are so, she knows exactly what she values, what she wants, what she desires, and she creates it. She desires a hoard of pearls in her grotto. She makes that happen. She desires to not have a grotto and simply swim with the dolphins. She makes that happen. She is so in tune every single moment with what she truly values and desires, that she has these blinders on to everything else. She's so clear about who she is and what she wants to experience right now and right now and right now, and she just makes it happen. She's so grounded in the truth of who she is, that even if she were to be on social media scrolling Facebook and see, you need to do this to make 10K a month, and after you get 10K, you get 25, and then you need your 7 figure, right? It would have no impact on her, because she's clear about her true desire. She's clear about what she wants. She's clear about what she values, what is a pure value to her at a deep soul level. With a flick of her tail, she goes off and makes it happen. And that's the energy I'm talking about. That's the energy of the lover. No more settling, because you are not allowing yourself to be influenced by the external. You are so in tune with your core, with your soul, with your inner world, with your true desires. And all the rest of it, it's just, it's like watching TV. It's not affecting you in any way. And it requires you to dive really deep into it. Now, the work is to understand the archetypes and how you are animating, and really being able to understand what you're animating in any given moment, so that if you are animating the prostitute, the child, the victim, or the saboteur, any of those shadow archetypes, you can choose to flip. When you learn to embody and really animate your mermaid energy, your wild, free, untamable, enchanting, gorgeous, fluid self, and you connect that to the moment, you become so solidly rooted in your values, in your truest desire, that nothing else will have an impact. And so this can look like you taking time out from social media or whatever it is that feeds you external information. It can also look like really just choosing moments in your day where you unplug and drop in. You can do this even when your eyes are open, even when you're running your business, even when you're serving clients, even when you're scrolling Instagram. You can do this. It is a skill. And I promise you that the more you practice it, the more it innately becomes what you do. You don't even need to think about it. And so there are tools we use in the beginning to get to this place. And then once you get there, the tools can fall away, because it simply becomes who you are. Now, the lover, our body, all the archetypes have a place in our body. The lover is in the heart. So anytime where you're feeling unclear about what your desire is, or your desires are changing, or you're just not valuing your desires or valuing yourself or valuing your worth or your business or anything to do with value, you want to start to bring energy, consciously light up the heart with energy. Now, when I say the heart, I'm not talking about the I love everyone and everything, fluffy butterfly world. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the heart, the physical heart. Go into that, light it up, intentionally move energy from the base of your spine into the heart and fill it with energy. Activate it. Choose consciously to activate this area. Choose to unplug from the external, to stop being fed externally and instead be fed inside out. That is how you get in touch with your truest and deepest desires. And I promise you, when it comes to your business, you're going to feel a bit crazy at times where suddenly what you desire isn't what you thought you did. And you take a complete 360 degree or 180 degree turn, I guess would be the opposite, 180 degree turn away from what you thought you wanted and you were trying to build. And suddenly this whole other world, which comes from within, starts to emerge, starts to drop codes where you know this is the next action and this is the next action and this is the next action. And suddenly you're creating something that is so in tune with your inner world, it blows your mind. When you go through this process, there is a letting go. I did a post yesterday about a very personal experience I had whitewater rafting. If you haven't read that, go and check that out, where I had to learn the hard way about letting go and the value of listening to that advice. For me, it was life and death, right? I thought I was going to drown. When I heard the voice say, let go, I immediately thought, well, I'm letting go of life. Okay, I'm going to die here, but at least I was doing something fun. but the letting go actually is how I got kicked out and up above the water where I could take a breath. The letting go is key. When you hold on to the results, the goals, the desires, the shiny object, all the stuff that's fed from the outside in, if you're holding on in any way, you're not going to get the codes you need to create your true desire, your true mermaid essence, your true world, the thing that is inside of you waiting for your attention. You're not going to get that if you're holding on in any way. You have to completely let go. It doesn't mean that your business, for me, it means a complete new branding is coming, and that's fabulous. I'm okay with that. For many people, it isn't that. It can look any different way. You might be on the right path with your business, with your life, with the products you create, whatever it is you're doing. You may be there. And this exercise of really flipping, letting that go and taking your hands off the steering wheel and diving deep inside and activating your mermaid, your lover, your value, your desire, really getting clear on that. Maybe just a refresh or maybe a different direction, but within the same business or whatever it is you're currently doing. It can look any number of ways. But the key is when you're holding on, when you don't have that wild, free, unleashed, enormous genius available, you are limiting yourself. You know who hates limitations? Mermaids. When you're feeling constrained, limited, uninspired by what it is you're doing, like just not connected to it, you need to embody your mermaid. That can look like sticking on a mermaid tail and heading out to the lake and having a swim. It can look like just understanding the nuances and the essence of the mermaid and really accessing that within your own body. All the fables and the creatures and the folklore and all that, they all have lessons to teach us. And for me, I'm a nature person, so all of this really, really helps my brain in a way to understand, but also allows me to access and find those portals in my own body where I can flip through that portal and come out on the other side with a very clear connection to what I actually really desire to create on this planet, in my life, in this moment, in this world. Now, it doesn't mean that there isn't hard work ahead. Of course, you have to do things. You have to be in action. You have to build. You have to be the warrior, and we'll talk about that later. But today we're talking about if you don't have your truest, most personal, most real, clear desire in you, and you haven't accessed that yet, you're going to struggle. Why? Because you're settling. You see how that's connected? And when you're settling, your soul is not fully being revealed and realized, it's hard. It creates struggle. You will always be looking for the next shiny object, or I need a new website, or I don't have enough clients, or blah, 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 blah. There's tons of stuff that comes up because you've settled. You settled for something that someone or something or the collective has fed to you. It is not coming from inside of you. So it is the most key element, the first step you have to take. And that means really being willing to not just put your toes in the water, but dive and fully submerge into the deep end of your heart, your soul, the deep, deep, deep parts, and really submitting to what you find there. That's the next piece, is the submission. You must submit fully to what you find in there, to what is revealed. I, for a long time, struggled against, I don't want to talk about mermaids and fairies and all that stuff because that's not going to help people with their business. But in fact, it helps me. And so when I really took the deep dive and took my hands off the steering wheel, that is what became clear to me. I love enchantment. I'm an enchantress. I love enchanted worlds. I love enchanted creations. That is the essence of my genius and who I am. What I'm here to do, and how I express that, and how I bring that pure core of me out is unknown and in the moment and up to me. But I tell you, it creates things in your life that when you hold on for the thing you've settled for will never, ever, ever become matter. So when you're clear about what you want, it's about, the next step, of course, is creating the matter in your life. That's the action, right? We need to have the sovereign's decree. We need to have the warrior in action. We need to bring in the magician for all the unknowns and the magical and all that stuff. But if you don't have this first piece sorted out, the rest of it doesn't really matter. So the invitation here is to really understand and get familiar with your lover archetype, with your mermaid energy, the wild, free, untamed, massive, clear, gorgeous, enchanted being who, with a flick of your tail, creates enchantment wherever you go. In whatever it is that you're creating, with every client you're working with every product you sell, so that you're making that animation in the world and delivering that animation to the world, because that is what the world is hungry for. The world is not hungry for more coaches making 10K a month and follow this template and you're going to get my results. Nobody wants that anymore. There was a time and a place for it, absolutely, and it brought us all to a certain place. The next piece is to dive in. Deep, deep, deep into your own self and really unlock and unleash the truest, most core elements of you, the truest, most core desire that you have. And then be willing to fully submit to it and put blinders on to everything else. If you want a grotto filled with beautiful, shiny pearls, then that is it. And you submit fully to that. If you want the freedom to go, frolic in the river, then you submit to that. If you want the freedom to have maybe half pearls and half swimming, submit fully to that. But when it's yours and you know how to own it, to really, really embody and own that, yes, this is my desire, this is what I will create, it's a whole new ballgame because it's fed from the inside out. Okay, so if you have any questions, drop them in here. I will keep my eye on the comments, and please, please, please join me next week. You must register to join me in your enchanted business. For anyone here who is building a business, you want to be at this event. It's free. It's 3 days. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yes. And we're going to dive really deep into this, and you're going to have some actual assignments to complete, which is lots of fun. So make sure you get registered for that. I will drop the link in here, your enchanted business. We meet for an hour a day next week. And I'm going to give you the tools to really unlock this deep, deep, deep core, because you got to get that in place first. If that's wobbly, if it isn't clear, if it isn't yours, the rest is going to be very, very hard. Why? Because you're settling. And I'll tell you, we are addicted to settling because it's familiar, it's comfortable, it's known, everybody else is doing it. It takes a lot of courage to no longer settle. But I promise you it's worth it. And as I said in the beginning of this, settling can be so, so subtle. You may have yourself fooled and convinced into thinking you're not settling when in fact you are. So the invitation is to dive even deeper. Bring the energy to the heart from the sacrum all the way up the spine. Activate the energy in the heart, not that lovey-dovey unicorn's heart, but the actual heart. Light it up with energy. Just by simply moving your attention there. And keep diving inward, putting the blinders on so that you are not, so you can still see things, but it is not, you don't take it in and become it. You don't take that information or that feedback in and have it alter your value, alter your desires, alter what you're doing, what you want. You stay clear, committed, and rooted in what's true for you. Okay. That's it for today, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. And any questions, pop them in. Make sure you get registered for your Enchanted business. It's going to be quite the powerhouse, quite an experience. So